Rams house, could Puka Nacua's extension be right around the corner? We've got some news to discuss this morning that seems to suggest that just might be the case, my friends. Welcome into a brand new episode of the Rams Report, presented as always by Prize Picks. And guys, I am really starting to believe that it is right around the corner. I'm not playing with you right now. Like, I wouldn't do that. You know I wouldn't do that. If I didn't feel like this was really happening, and there was a moment here where after that report that, like, hey, this might happen next season, I was like, oh, okay, like, we might have to wait a little bit on Puka's deal. I've never once felt like this wasn't happening in general, but the timeline has always been a little unclear. But the news we're going to discuss on today's show has me more confident than ever that it is coming before the season starts. I really do believe that, guys, and we will be live as soon as that news breaks. I cannot wait for this show, guys. As soon as the news breaks, we are going live here on the Rams Report. We're actually going to be live for every preseason game, every regular season game as well. So it'll be a great kind of like test run of that to celebrate exactly what we've all been waiting for around Puka Nacua, locking up our franchise receiver. So make sure you're subscribed and ring that notification bell so you get notified 30 minutes before we go live so you don't miss a minute of that, because it's going to be an absolute blast when we finally get to celebrate Puka's extension. But okay, a lot of you are wondering, what the hell are we even talking about, Jackson? You haven't told us yet. Here's what the news is. Puka Nacua signed with a new agency today. And it's interesting. Obviously, we all know he's entering the final year of his contract, as Adam Schefter says here. But the agency he has now hired, leaving behind Athletes First in the past, is Win Sports Group. And you may have heard of Win Sports Group in the past if you're someone who follows contract extension news, because they're on a little bit of a hot streak right now, my friends, especially when it comes to the wide receiver position. They have gotten a number of guys paid. Here's an interesting note about Win Sports Group. I actually learned this today. They are a merger agency between two other agencies, one of which I'm off the top of my head not remembering, but the other really notable one is WME Sports with Joel Siegel. So he is also involved in that. So Justin Jefferson and Joe Burrow, who both got their deals done prior to the merger, are also represented by a Win Sports Group agent in Joel Siegel. Jaxson Smith-Njigba is represented by Joel Siegel. Zay Flowers is represented by Win Sports Group. Nick Bosa is represented by Win Sports Group. Niner though he is. But here's the deal, right? Or deals, I should say, that they've gotten done in just this calendar year. In 2026, they made Zay Flowers literally yesterday the fourth highest paid receiver in the NFL and in NFL history. He also received the highest percentage of his contract guaranteed at signing for a receiver in NFL history as well, with a whopping 77% of his money guaranteed up front. They made Jaxson Smith-Njigba the highest paid receiver in NFL history, getting him a whopping $120 million guaranteed and close to $170 million in total. Dexter Lawrence, they got a one-year extension added onto an existing two-year deal. So that won't even kick in until 2028, but he already gets another $28 million added on with one of the cheapest organizations in football, by the way, in Cincinnati. And then they got Jordan Davis, a monster contract. This one got underreported, but a 3-year, $78 million deal, of which 82% is fully guaranteed, $64 million guaranteed for Jordan Davis. They get their guys paid, and they get them paid quickly. Guys, this deal, I really do believe this. It could be done within the week. I really think it will be done within the week, guys. So again, I urge you, make sure you are subscribed. You do not want to miss this news. And on the back half of today's show, we're going to talk about what exactly this deal is going to look like. The numbers have kind of changed a little bit since we last tried to project them, so it's worth doing so again. But before we do that, I've got to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor here on the Rams Report and at Chat Sports in general, Prize Picks, guys, America's #1 sports picks app. If you're a regular viewer of the Rams Report, I know you know all about our good friends over at Prize Picks, but if you've never heard of them, it's time to cash in on your ball knowledge, my friend, with Prize Picks. The app is super easy to use. All you have to do to put together your daily fantasy lineup is pick more or less on a few player stat projections and lock it in. And with the social feeds feature, you can share your Prize Picks with your buddies. You can copy lineups with a single click. Just drop follows on their profiles like any other social media platform, including me, guys. I'm on there. My username is @Jackson Durham, just my first and my last name. So you guys can see all of my latest picks. You can tail them, you can fade them, and you can even see the ones that I don't share on the show or see the ones I'm going to share on the show before I do so, including this one, 5 to win 395 on that lineup right there. Prize Picks is available in most states, including California, Florida, and Texas. And when you join, you're joining millions of users and signing up for America's #1 sports picks app. And right now is a great time to join, guys, because they have a brand new user offer. Play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. Prize Picks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. Thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. We always appreciate them. Let's talk a little bit more here about Puka and kind of why I feel like this is coming soon. Because again, like the agency alone, that's significant. Of course, you do want to hire a new agency when you are preparing to enter contract negotiations, which is, again, a huge part of why this is the case. But it takes two to tango, as they say. It can't just be Puka who's ready to get a new deal. The Rams have to be ready to give it to him. And that does seem to have been the holdup in a lot of this. Snead recently was asked by Ben Solak of ESPN about this whole situation, and he declined to answer directly, saying, we'll keep that between us, but he did say Nacua is in a great spot, suggesting that the receiver is healthy and focused after a tumultuous offseason. And that idea of, like, him getting back to a great spot has always been exactly what this franchise has been waiting for, exactly what this organization has been waiting for. And remember, it has been a long time since we have had any negative news around Puka Nacua. It has been a good couple of months, and in those couple of months, he has done a lot of growing and changing. If you listen to anyone who has been around him, Nate Atkins did an excellent profile of him for The Athletic, which I think is really worth a read because you get an insight into who he is as a person, into what the last couple of months have been like for him as a human being. And it hasn't been easy. He's had to look himself in the mirror and go, am I reflecting to the public the kind of person that I want to be? And the answer was truly no. But I think in that reflection, in that time spent in therapy, he's done a lot of growing. He's still young. He turned 25 in May of this year. Guys, he's my age. It's crazy. But at the end of the day, he's growing up before our eyes. He's learning that he has a responsibility, not just to himself, but to a franchise at this point as the future face of this franchise as we enter a post-Stafford era in the very near future. Who's the face of the Rams? It's Puka Nacua. And of course, the Rams want to commit to Puka Nacua being the right kind of guy. And I think these last couple of months have made him reflect on, I want to be that guy. How do I make that happen? And he made the hard decisions to go out and do that. Committing to rehab is not an easy thing to do. He wasn't committed by anybody. He willingly chose. He looked at himself in the mirror and he said, I got to make a change. And he did. And he went out and did the hard steps to go do that. I have a lot of respect for that because he knew it was going to have to be done in the public eye. He knew everybody was going to know if he made that decision. There was going to be a lot of judgment. There was going to be a lot of intense scrutiny of it, but he went ahead and did it anyway. That's vulnerability. That's understanding that, you know what? I have to take this step because I need to change. And even though there will be people who don't understand, who don't sympathize with that, it doesn't matter what they think. I've got to do what's best for me. And I truly feel that he has done what's best for him. And now it's time for the Rams to do what's best for themselves by getting him paid and committing to him long term. So what's that going to look like? Very expensive. I'm not going to lie, guys. He is going to be easily the highest paid receiver in NFL history. That's a given. He'll clear Jaxson Smith-Njigba's bar at $42 million. Now, the question really for me is twofold. How much does he clear it by? And when he does so, how much of the contract is guaranteed? And I think it can kind of come in two different ways. I have like kind of a ballpark window that I believe this contract will come in. So this is the low end projection. I feel like this would be, if it came in at this, I'd be like, okay, like this is kind of a team-friendly deal in some ways. $172 million. Of course, it's still a market-resetting deal, so calling it team-friendly is a little silly at the end of the day, but team-friendly by expectations, right? $172 million, so $43 million average. So again, resetting the receiver market by a pretty good distance. A guarantee of $130 million, which would be a clean 75% of the contract guaranteed. So a little bit less than what Zay Flowers got, but a little bit more than what JSN got very recently as well. The high-end projection for me would be, and this would be the Rams feel very good about where Puka is at and are committing to him. This would be basically like off the field stuff aside. This is, I think, the deal that Puka could get. A $44 million average, crushing Jaxson Smith-Njigba's by a clean $2 million nearly. $140 million of that guaranteed, which would set the record for most guaranteed or most percentage guaranteed to a receiver at signing, at 80% of the contract being guaranteed, and a whopping $176 million total value. He'd be worth every penny of either contract. I would be very thrilled to see this number come in. I'd be just as thrilled to see the other number come in. At the end of the day, guys, I'm showing you the numbers because it matters from a cap perspective. But no matter what the Rams get Puka Nacua on, no matter how much he clears the market by, good news for this team. It is great news for this team as soon as they're able to commit to him. Because he is your future. I truly, truly feel this way. He has shown us, especially last season, man, like the growth last season with Stafford taking, Stafford was always that guy, but Stafford was just on another level last season. And we saw Puka be a huge part of why he was able to be that. It just felt like he was unstoppable last year. I think back to that Week 16 game against the Seattle Seahawks. And even though we lose that game, my God, man, that's one of the greatest receiver performances I've ever seen in my life. It is one of the greatest receiver performances I have ever seen in my life. And that was in the midst of all the tumult off the field, of all the chaos off the field. That was the week of the live stream and the night that he would go on to tweet at referees, pissing me and many other Rams fans off. But again, he's clear-headed now. He's locked in and focused. He spent the entire offseason focusing on himself mentally and physically. He's going to be a demon this season, guys, and a demon going forward. You thought he was good last year? Oh, my goodness. This season's going to be unbelievable. The league is just not ready for a focused Puka Nacua. I truly feel that way. The league is not ready for the Puka that is coming this year. And committing to him now, it's going to save you money, because if you wait, let him go this season, my God, man, he's going to want an unbelievable bag after what he does this year. I am 100% confident in that. But it secures your future. I'm going to say it again. Puka is a huge part of, if not even maybe the anchor point of, your future alongside this guy right here. Because he needs a guy. Ty needs a guy. It rhymes. That's how much it makes sense. It rhymes. But Ty's guy is going to be Puka. And this contract extension gives you the window to make that happen. Even if Stafford plays 1-2 more seasons, great. Let Stafford go as long as Stafford wants to go. That's awesome. I will love to see more Stafford. That's not really what I'm trying to say here by doing this. But no matter what, Stafford's not playing 4 more seasons, guys. We got to be real about ourselves. He's not playing 4 more seasons. One of those years, at least, on this contract extension, gives Ty Simpson a season to play with the best receiver in football. And that's going to elevate him. That is absolutely going to elevate him. How could that not elevate Ty Simpson? That's going to make his start to the NFL so much easier. being able to lean on a Puka Nacua and hopefully a CJ Daniels as well as he develops into what it already looks like at a training camp, a baller right now. Guys, I'm super excited about this news. I really feel like it is right around the corner that we are going to be discussing Puka's contract extension, the exact numbers on it. I cannot wait to do so. And like I said, we will be live when the news breaks. So make sure you are subscribed. Do not miss a minute because we will be here to cover every second of the news around Puka's extension and everything around the Los Angeles Rams. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later today for some practice takeaways.